Why are white folk shocked over their true identity? Why are they shocked over their true DNA? I thought they are one of the people that knows better than every other race. Why are they not seeing the true identity and everything about their race? And they are shocked. They even want to argue on a national podcast. You were the one that brought your DNA, you handed it over to us, and then we revealed it to you, and you are surprised? You know, this is exactly what will happen to a lot of white folks out there. And I hope they see this video and then take their time to go check out or find out their true identity before they start screaming, we have privilege, we have privilege. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in this episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And with that being said, let's dive right into this video. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch, guys.
Craig Cobb recently made headlines when his plans to buy up land in the tiny town of Leith, North Dakota, were revealed. You see, Mr. Cobb only wants one race of people to live in Leith: white people. A man on a mission to build a town that would exclusively let white people in and keep everyone else out.
Whites are the highest expression of DNA on the planet.
So Craig Cobb. Craig Paul Cobb has undergone DNA testing to determine genetic ancestry. 86% European and
Give it to him. Give it to him.
14% Sub-Saharan African.
Wait a minute.
Hey!
Hold on. Just wait a minute.
Great! So,
This is called statistical noise.
sweetheart, you have a little black in you, as I
Listen, I'll tell you this. Oil and water don't mix.
say. So, hey, bro.
No.
Americans are obsessed with discovering our ancestry because we are yearning to understand where we come from. When we arrived in America, our job was no longer to be Greek or French or German or whatever. Our job was to be white and embark on the project of whiteness, right? The problem, of course, besides the violence, is that a mere 2 to 3 generations later, we're so hungry to figure out where we come from because whiteness is rootless. It's too new and it hasn't really done anything good for the world. We crave roots that have more nourishment. But I'm going to tell you now why the search for your European ancestors is always going to be fruitless and futile, and also why it's going to be okay anyway. I think it's an invitation for something even better. Like other people facing the rootless wonder that is European American existence, I sent off a sample of my DNA to a private company to tell me who I am. I knew the basics of my heritage in the sense that I knew my birth certificate said French, Welsh, Portuguese, and German. That's all I knew. 23andMe finished analyzing my data and they said, yeah, that all checks out. And also, did you know you're 12% Sardinian? No? I make some calls. No one in my family has any record of this, right? I become completely obsessed with Sardinia for 2 weeks. I am looking up Sardinian history. I'm looking up Sardinian culture. I am planning a $2,000 trip to Sardinia so I can go and try that like freaky worm cheese they have. For a reason I can't yet articulate, I know that being from this place makes me a more interesting person. And I log in one day to show someone and poof, it is just gone. They took all my little Sardinian Pokemon DNA points and put them into Portugal. Like the whole thing was just some kind of rounding error. And I was very upset about this. I felt betrayed. And then I was like, I just let a private for-profit company tell me a story about myself that I can never verify, that you can never verify unless you have a fucking time machine, and used it to change my entire perception about who I am. The whole exercise revealed itself to be what it truly was, which is useless. You go looking for your ancestors not because you are looking for blood purity, you're looking for stories. Blood will never tell you a story. You put a story on blood. You find out your part whatever, and you tell yourself a story about what that means about you based on stereotypes you've heard about that culture from other people. That is not the same thing as learning about what your ancestors were like. Were they kind neighbors? Were they loving parents? Were they cruel to strangers? What did they think of immigrants? What did they think was happening when they prayed? Did they ever think about you? You just don't get to know that with a DNA test. That will only ever be a story you make up in your head that you allow a DNA test to give you permission to indulge. And there is a freedom in this. Actually, stay with me. I think most of us want to be burdened with a legacy. We want destiny and direction that is so certain and so strong. We might actually have the gall, the bratty urge to fight it. DNA tests don't give us legacy. The freedom of America that was promised to European settlers can be realized by us, the descendants of those settlers, but perhaps not in the way that it was originally set out. I feel like a wandering white ghost. I think a lot of us do. But we are still the inheritors of incredible wealth and incredible things were built for us. We are ghosts holding bags of money and power. We need to realize that looking backward is only going to get us so far. We need to look forward. Maybe our ancestral legacy is the realization of the benefits of rootlessness, that we are part of a global family, and that it is our obligation to care about that. That is our evolution. We know how easy it is to be torn away from a bloodline, removed from a cultural and a national identity, and reformed into something new that doesn't fully understand itself and the consequences of that. Because borders always change. Nations always change, and cultures are always in a state of change. If you wrap your self-perception up too much in these things, these changing things, you lose the plot of what ancestry is about. Ancestry is the search for family, for belonging. You already are a part of a family, even if it's a dysfunctional one.
Now for a discovery which may surprise you. Scientists have found that most of us still have a little bit of a Neanderthal inside us. A study into the DNA of the human subspecies found that they interbred with modern humans tens of thousands of years ago, and their genetic mark remains today. BBC's Palab Ghosh has more on these extraordinary findings.
This is a skull of a modern human, and this is from a Neanderthal. Look closely and you can see that this one has a slightly longer brain case. Most scientists believe that these are two separate species, and there wasn't much interaction between the two. But now we know there was interbreeding, and that all non-Africans living today are part Neanderthal. The researchers extracted DNA from Neanderthal fossils and compared it with that taken from people living today. They found that the DNA of Europeans and Asians is 2% Neanderthal.
It's a very exciting discovery because it gives us really the first strong evidence that there was interbreeding with people like the Neanderthals. And it means that modern humans in different parts of the world may have slightly different mixes.
Further analysis should give
40 years, so it's incredible now to have the DNA data that really shows us what this guy looked like. You know, the hair, the eyes, the face, that combination of blue eyes and dark skin, really very striking, something we wouldn't have imagined. And to also get from the DNA, you know, details of his biology, the fact that he couldn't digest milk as an adult. That's something that came really with the advent of farming, and 10,000 years ago people in Britain didn't have that. And of course it's very striking for a 10,000-year-old human. Our expectations a few years ago would have been that this individual would have had, you know, maybe dark hair but fairly pale skin, possibly blue eyes. And what we've got is a quite unusual combination of this dark, slightly curly hair, really quite dark skin, and quite striking blue eyes.
1, 2, 3, come on!
This is Jerusalem in 1925. Why do you think the leader said, how are you guys Jews if you guys left black but came back white? How'd you leave black but came back white? We've been lied to.
But the CT scan has one more surprise for Alejandro. Shamai's ethnicity.
Well, they have just told me that Shamai had Nubian features, which means that the ruling family was probably Nubian, and that was unexpected.
Examining Shamai's anatomy closely, the thickness of his bones and the shape of his nasal cavity, the anthropologists think he was a black African, likely from neighboring Nubia. A huge revelation that challenges the prevailing image of the Egyptian ruling class.
We always thought the ancient Egyptian elite were Mediterranean type, and in this sense, Shamai is representing the society of the frontier, in which different ethnic groups were mixed.
They were dark skinned, but they were not black, but they are not Negro.
What? What?
Because look at the lips of the Negroes like that, and the nose like this. It's not really the Egyptian origin at all. It's different, completely different. And this is why you cannot connect the Egyptian civilization with the African at all. It's different. Or from Syria, Palestine, Mesopotamia, it's different, completely.
No colored people, or for whites only. Can you imagine? I want to learn black history. I'm on Amelia Island, just north of Jacksonville in northern Florida. I stopped by to see this historical marker. Have you ever actually stopped and looked at one of these things? American Beach was established in 1935 under the leadership of Abraham Lincoln Lewis, one of Florida's first black millionaires. Florida's beaches were racially segregated until the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. You could not go to the main beaches in the Jacksonville area. You had to drive all the way up here to Amelia Island, which is still kind of out of the way. Because of this, American Beach became regionally popular since it was one of the few beaches in the Southeast open to African Americans. You know how there's always a bunch of signs at the beach, no driving or no pets or whatever. Imagine you're at a white beach and one of the things that it says is no colored people or for whites only. Can you imagine? Other sites in American Beach trace their history to the Civil War era. In 1862, Union forces captured Amelia Island and the freed slaves founded Franklin Town at the south end of this island. The Franklintown Cemetery still exists today. Whoa, it still exists, and it's on Highway A1A. Let's check it out. I just found the site of the historical Franklin Cemetery. Uh-oh, better call this number. I was unable to reach anyone, but I went around to the side where there's just a little hedge between me and the cemetery, so I can check it out from here. I need to remember that all this history is in the family history of so many Americans today. It's in their memories, it's part of their identity, and that's why it's important to know this.
Did you know that American colonists were so stinky that native people could smell them a mile away? Okay, that was a slight exaggeration, but their hygiene was very bad. 17th century Europeans did not regularly participate in full immersion bathing. Instead, they washed their face and hands at a basin each day and believed that washing their linen undergarments was enough to keep their body clean. Native Americans bathed regularly in open rivers and streams. And even their oral hygiene was superior. They used things like chew sticks, mint and charcoal to keep their teeth fresh and clean. Many of us were taught in school that Native Americans were simply defeated by the strength of European troops, but this wasn't true. Germs killed more Native people than guns. Millions of Native people died because of the horrible diseases brought over by Europeans as a result of bad hygiene. This included diseases like smallpox.
Alright, now let me tell you the origin of the white race. So about 6,000, 7,000, or 8,000 years, the white race landed on this planet. And it was created by a dude named Yakub, which is the big-headed scientist and the father of the white race. And it took him 600 years to complete the white race. And he was doing it on an island called Patmos. And when he completed the science experiment, he migrated them on the Caucasus Mountains. Which is why y'all was given the name Caucasian, because y'all stem from the Caucasus Mountains. Now, white people have 4% Neanderthal DNA, and they're only 96% human. And the Neanderthal DNA comes from the monkey. Now, the white race has DNA, and black people have DEA. Now, you are human beings such as Caucasian, Asians, Dravidians, Mexican, and Arab, who have DNA which comes from the animals. And you have that because you are a hybrid of the animal genetics. Now, the difference between blacks and Latino, we have DEA. Or neuromelanin beings or carbonated beings, you have DEA, which is deoxyetheric acid, which connects you to the etheric realm. Now, guess how many Neanderthal traits you'll find in a black person DEA? None, right? You will find 0 traits of Neanderthal, because we are the original people that been here, which is the gods and the goddesses, and we are the most powerful beings in the cosmos. Now, this is not a racist thing, this is true knowledge. It's just we are all now one race, and they told us we were just one race. They told you lies in your face to keep you dumbfounded and not finding out the truth.
Can't find the comment, but somebody asked me about white history and why there's no White History Month. And since it's June 1st, I figured why not talk about white history for a month, starting with Greenwood, Oklahoma. On May 31st, 1921, thousands of angry white people flooded the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You see, the white people of Tulsa, Oklahoma were pissed off at the audacity of black people to turn the Greenwood district into a thriving, affluent, opulent black community. How dare they, when we have segregation set in place and legalized discrimination to prevent them from being prosperous, how dare they prosper in the face of adversity? So, white men told a lie that riled up other white men until thousands of angry white people formed a mob that flooded the streets of the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. There, this angry mob of white people killed over 300 innocent black people. They burned over 1,250 homes. They looted businesses and then burned them to the ground. And in less than 24 hours, angry white people reduced years of black generational wealth and black excellence to ashes. Now, some black families who lost everything in the destruction of Black Wall Street, as the Greenwood district was called, moved and never went back, while others decided to stay and wanted to rebuild Greenwood. But faced with such white adversity, they found rebuilding it to its glory days difficult. And to add insult to injury, white bank managers refused to let black people withdraw their money from the banks, saying that because you lost everything in the great fires, you have no proof that you ever banked with us. And so we're not letting you take out any money. That money has been sitting in the banks since 1921, accruing interest, and their descendants today still don't have access to the money in those banks. And that's how the bombing of Black Wall Street, or the Tulsa Race Massacre, became a moment in white history.
Can I just say how weird it is for a Middle Eastern girl who've been bullied since like 5 years old about, ew, you're so brown, you're so hairy, nah. And then like all of a sudden in the past 5 years, like the whole internet's like, oh, you're white part. Like, it's so weird, and like it's not normal. Like, I don't know what's wrong with the internet's like perception of like people and what they're supposed to look like. Like, I don't know if you remember, but a white girl without like makeup, tan, bloody lashes, eyebrows looks something like this. Like that's their baseline, and nothing wrong with that. Like, every race is beautiful in their own way. I'm just saying, like, I'm shocked that like we've forgotten what people are supposed to look like, and now suddenly we're all white passing. I don't know, it's just very odd behavior. I mean, I love getting angry at stuff, so this is like perfect for me, because I'm like getting filled with rage. Anyway, like, what the hell? Like, I'm literally wearing a filter to make my nose look even smaller because I'm so bloody brainwashed from my whole life. Anyway, thank you so much for your comment, and I will talk to you another time.
History of pale skin. People were dying to be white. Literally. Did you know that in medieval Europe, fair skin was all the rage? Women would place leeches on their earlobes so that it can drain the blood from their face to appear more pale. Others would slap some rose water and some flour on their face and call it a day. And good old Queen Elizabeth here, she would slather her face with cerise, one of those, which is a lead and vinegar paste. Researchers say because of all the years of this poisoning, it left her skin with holes in it the size of craters, bad breath and hair loss, and they even say it very well could have killed her. And by the 17th century, women had discovered that the same ingredient in rat poison can also make them look pale. So why not? In 1625, a product called Aqua Tofana came out. Pretty much promised women that their milkshakes will bring all the boys to the yard, aka having all the boys kissing their fair cheeks. This had arsenic in it, and when it did bring the boys to the yard, it killed over 600 men. In 1751, this lovely lady here, Maria Gunning, at 27, she died from lead poisoning from her makeup. Her deadly face paint also set her liver on fire. By the Victorian era, women still wanted to look faint, but heavy makeup and arsenic poison was just so last century. So instead, the ladies chew on arsenic complexion wafers. Wafers made women white by killing the hemoglobin in the blood, but it also slowed oxygen to the brain.
That happens online, especially on this app, where a certain demographic of people come online consistently and say, guess how old I look. This is a normal 40-year-old. This is a normal 30-year-old. This is a normal 50-year-old without filler, without Botox. And yes, while this generation and the world has normalized cosmetic procedures, what these videos are intending to do is normalize the rate of aging or normalize the rate of skin or sun damage that some demographics have as the normal standard way of aging. There was a young lady that came on here who was 25 and she had severe sun damage, like severe skin damage. And she was like, this is a normal 25-year-old, no Botox, no filler. And half the comments were people being like, hey, like, use sunscreen. But there was this trend online of people being like, you look great. These people don't know what a real face looks like. I do know what a real face looks like. And no one at 25 should look that old. This is even only a topic for me because the normalization of the white standard is the issue that we're going through. Now, we've all heard the phrase black don't crack. Black cracks for some people, but genetically and literally, quite literally, we age slower than white people. And there's a slew of scientific research done on this. It's our skin density, it's the melanin, it's a lot of factors that go into why we just look younger on average than white people. I'm 40 years old, and every time I say that, people are like, what do you mean you're 40 years old? And I'm like, I'm a black 40. Black 40 is not white 40. But 25, I don't care whether you're white, black, brown, Asian, 25-year-olds are still young. You don't look 40 at 25. I say this to say, stop coming online and asking people what age you look. I think a lot of you have like a humiliation kink or like you're a masochist, but stop trying to normalize white people aging and white skin as the standard, because you guys aren't the standard in the world. In fact, Europeans are the minority of the world. The rest of us are all melanated people. So, but please stop coming online and saying that we sound crazy and everyone ages the same way, or this is a normal. There's no such thing as a normal 40-year-old, normal 50-year-old. We all age different, and we have to normalize all of us being different because genetically we are different.
Believe that white people couldn't be spiritual until I realized that the vast majority of them were spiritual until they severed ties with their ancestors in spiritual practices in order to gain access to the concept of whiteness. The creation of whiteness as a racial category required the spiritual and cultural castration of the diverse European people it encompassed. To become white, they had to sever their connection with their specific cultural ancestors, folkways, and spiritual traditions, replacing them with a hollow identity based solely on racial supremacy and aligned with state-approved religion. The rise of centralized nation states and state-sponsored Christianity required the suppression of local pagan and folk spiritual practices. Celtic tradition, Nordic mythology, Slavic folk magic, countless others were systematically demonized, outlawed, and driven underground by church and state authority. It was a spiritual colonization within Europe. When these groups came to America, they were already partially disconnected from their roots. But to be a proper American meant they had to shed the remnants of their old country superstitions and embrace a more standard Anglo-Protestant identity. The mantra was to forget the old world and its ways and reinvent yourself in the new world as an American. This meant abandoning the collective ancestral identity of the past. Whiteness as a concept has no ancestors. It's ahistorical and offers an identity based on what you are instead of who you came from. They had to trade their ancestors for a racial category. The path to whiteness was to accept assimilation, abandoning native languages, adopting Anglo names, leaving their distinct religious practices behind, and actively distancing themselves from Black and Indigenous people to prove that they deserved the wage of whiteness, all to gain access to a bland and homogenized racial category. Yikes. And this is why the concept of white pride is inherently racist, because you aren't white. You were never white. You abandoned everything you are and everything you came from to be a part of a supremacist group in order to have power over other groups of people. And when you know that, you know that there can be no such thing as white pride. You had an identity. You gave it up for false power. Now we all live in a system of capitalism, consumerism that benefits none of us.
Craziest thing about going to Europe as an American for me was seeing the way that white people's skin ages in its natural habitat. Because I've lived in California my entire life, and my skin has visible sun damage everywhere. Like, you know, there's these sunspots, these freckles, these like really fine lines that come from tanning and burning and blah, blah, blah. And everyone I know who's white, who has lived in the same area, they have a similar situation. If you look closely, there's sun damage all over their skin. I'm not saying it's a tragedy. I'm just saying, like, that's a fact of life. That's just what happens. When I went to Poland, for the first time ever, I saw white people who were like full grown, like 50-year-old adults with basically no sun damage. Like, if you looked at them, obviously they were like, you could tell that they were 50. They had normal wrinkles from like being alive for that long and smiling and laughing and whatever. But like, they didn't have like sun damage wrinkles or spots or freckles or anything. They didn't have like any of this stuff. They were just like flat white. Like, just completely white. Like alabaster. And it was crazy because I've never even, like, seriously thought that that was possible. I didn't know. I mean, I guess I know it makes sense historically that if your skin evolved for that place, it wouldn't get damaged. But I've just never seen that before in America ever. And it was just so shocking to me. And it just made me think about how unfit for the environment white people truly are in America.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching all of that clip. And the honest truth is, Americans, white folks specifically, in American specifically as well, are one people I never expected that they are literally going to be shocked knowing where they come from, knowing their roots. See, we all know the truth, and the truth is that every single human being on earth has a deposit of a black woman, has a deposit of a black blood, has a deposit of a black identity. Despite the fact that a lot of them are looking for ways to eradicate that out, white people can still not trace back their roots even up till date. You understand? At least whenever there is voice and tell black people, oh, forget about slavery. Slavery was a long time ago. Oh, I can't give you reparation. After all, I was not the one that enslaved you. After all, you are from Africa. After all, you're from Indian. After all, you're from Caribbeans. After all, you're from Jamaica. It's just a whole lot. At least, black people can be able to prove out their DNA and understand their roots. But these white folks do not and cannot prove their roots. And they are the ones that will talk about culture more than any other race. And they are the ones that will make you feel bad as another race, as if you're not worth it, east, west, north, and south. Right now, a lot of them are shocked. Okay, like look at the first clip that I rolled out for you guys, where you literally see this white man thinking that he was 100% white, until he finds out that there is an atom of that thing that they usually like to call us. You can see someone opening his wide mouth to start calling, oh, you're a monkey, you're a this, you're a that. And at the end of the day, forgetting that inside your blood, check every characteristics about that particular thing that you're calling black people is the same thing that is acquainted, or the same thing that is showing in your face or in your skin or in your body. So if you don't understand where you come from, if you don't understand your roots, do not make it or rub it on other people's face that they literally do not understand their roots as well. So when I saw this, I was not surprised at all. I was not surprised because I already know that a lot of white folks cannot. They cannot. The only thing that they can identify themselves with is being white. And that is why I keep saying it. If you are a diehard fan of my channel, I don't see privilege anywhere. I hate it when I even see people do video and be like, oh, white people have privilege. There is no privilege anywhere. The only thing they have was to reclassify and lie upon lies every single time. But there was never a privilege anywhere for them. The DNAs have proved that they have an atom of a black woman inside of them. They have a drop of a black woman's blood inside of them. So, one of the questions I ask myself is, what are we even fighting for? Because in every single time you see black people resting, relaxing themselves, and you see these people going east, west, north, and south. Now they don't know their roots, they don't know their identity. That's why sometimes I just love to look at black Americans and I just want them to understand that there is a lot of good things that come with being black. There's a lot of good things that comes with that word, I am black. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in at this episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Stay tuned and come back for more.